this piece has a little bit of history. It's called Burn These Stores Down. Now, not advocating anybody to burn any stores down. It's a gangster like that. But take you back to the time frame. Fred Hampton Jr. just kind of got out, released from the belly of the beast, so to speak. And one of the first things that we did, was with this organization called Black Fist, and what we did was go around wherever we saw injustice and try to speak on that, try to protest against it. In this case, there was a store on the west side, and basically young women were being asked to do some very inappropriate things for Pampers, milk, whatever. So we went and protested against this store. And what I found most ironic was there was a brother outside the store, and his argument was, what y'all doing up in here? You're not from this neighborhood. This ain't your problem. They hook me up with chips all day long. They give me credit. So basically, for him, his credit was worth more than, what was going on to these young ladies in this community. So, being a poet, I got pissed off, went home, and wrote this piece called Burn These Stores Down. She was all woman, except she was 14. Thinking in forevers, believing in promises, the same ones that crept hard into her soft, innocent idea that left her body full and discovered. Of unstable donors willing to give what it takes to get inside, but when their reflections fall from her lips, their dreams seem to die. The fantasy of a virgin side turns into the reality of a child's cry. Now there are two children, the one in front of our eyes and the one with the thick thighs. Thought she was living in love, but she was living a lie. She was 14. She was once his queen, but now he denies and doesn't provide, but still tries to come inside. So what is she to do? Who is she to turn to? She learns to live with the hurt and the guilt. No one wants to acknowledge her worth, so she goes through hell on earth, no choices, all this guilt and mentally hurt. She goes to the corner store where they treat her like the corner whore because she's built. But she crumbles every time he mumbles what she can do for Pampers and milk. This is always her last resort. And every time he comes, he makes sure she swallows till she's so hollow her soul begins to wilt. She's 14. She's 14? I say no. They say yes. I say fight. They say protest. I say it's the same. And I think the people will feel this rage, this flame, her tears, our pain. But as I stand up and watch this brother, so-called nigga, explain, fight, and defend this store, slave to the core, house nigga same as before, I think if I had a trigger, I'd blow his fucking brains out on the floor. But I think he's out of his mind. What for? So like my conversation with this wasted my time, I've already won the war. She's 14. You motherfuckers ain't gonna stop her dreams. Poetry came to stop the scheme. Got the Black Fist Queens on my team. On the front line with a gangster lean. We seen the pain. We hear the rain. Take it back to Africa to reclaim the name. You can have your labels. Yo, fuck your chains. But if we don't fight now, then who's to blame? So I throw the flame to start the chain. Burn these stores down. Burn these stores down. I got my cocktail burning. These devils gonna be learning. These poets self-determined. It's revolution now. It's revolution now. Burn these stores down. Burn these stores down. Let me take your hand. Let me take the traits of your ex-lovers. Not the ones who had sisters, but the ones who loved their mothers. I want to take their tender tenacity and break your mental chastity with the hardest thought in the galaxy. Am I ready to die? Am I ready to die for my people? Do I want to follow or do I want to lead my people? Do I want to plant seeds in revolutionaries? Do I want to breed revolutionaries who murder all talk, only read revolutionaries, those Harvard revolutionaries who pass themselves as masters of vocabulary but can't read the dictionary making shit happen? I give these false prophets a picture of revolution, they read the caption. All talk, no action. Before I finish asking, I check for your reaction. I see that you're ready like a panther in heat, like Harriet Tubman told her people to be. I even have to go to Aesop and ask, is what's below your navel a fable? He says, no, it's the reincarnation of why Cain killed Abel. So we went to King James and sat around the round table smoking squares and began to talk about record labels who are trying to disable our unborn seeds before they reach the cradle with grave attempts to make me see with more split personality than Gemini acting like Sable. But I am able to see beyond this fallacy, the stars, the black hole, and the galaxy. You are actually mentally, mathematically sweeter than the reality that may play tricks if one can't drink faith and mix your name in the same flame that Moses saw in the bush high on cocaine, that Jesus speaks every time we call his father in vain, in the same voice that inspired Nas to write Nomadic on the train. I listen, trying to maintain how you are comparable to the parable that made Ivan the Terrible seem tame as a sparrow that my poems sing about every time we listen to a stereo. This is where I become a pharaoh, launching more lyrics in the vernacular that make your mind, body, and soul capture the Holy Spirit. Capture the tear that dripped in traffic. You make me high, but not so tragic that I can't write how dynamic you are for having a great-great-grandmother who crossed the Atlantic, went through hell for masters with more cold, white-skinned than passengers on the Titanic, went through slavery, hip-hop, semantics. Let me speak in terms of romantics. Let me cover your body like Hannibal, wish granted. Let me roam your locks understandable to the reason we roll up the preamble and sample premiere on mushrooms and appeared around the constitution of your curves. The revolution between my words, it has me calling you Eve without the apple. I would go to Africa and paint your image in 16 shackles. Watch Michelangelo completely baffled. D'Angelo and Brown Sugar got me asking you, how does it feel when I travel the globe? Come back and whisper in your earlobe how Greek philosophers stole and Asian mathematicians couldn't honor how I compose you in the Chicago state of flows that were right below the nose of students who said heaven stops between your legs and never grows.